Yo, what's good, Laker Nation? Listen, I need every single one of y'all to stop what you're doing right now because what I'm about to tell you is something that just happened at the Crypto.com arena this morning, and it has completely changed the energy around this entire franchise heading into Game 5 tonight. And I'm not talking about a game plan adjustment. I'm not talking about a coaching decision. I'm not talking about some X's and O's breakdown. I'm talking about Austin Reaves, the man who has been out since April 2nd with an oblique injury, who has been watching his team fight and bleed and scratch for every win from the bench in a suit, who sat there helplessly 2 nights ago while the Lakers got destroyed 115-96 in Game 4, and the entire media world started writing the obituary for their championship hopes. That Austin Reaves just walked out of the training room this morning, still wearing a protective wrap around his midsection. Sweat pouring down his face from the morning shoot-around that he was not supposed to participate in, stopped in front of the ESPN camera that was set up in the tunnel, and delivered the most intense, most personal, most jaw-dropping pregame statement I have ever heard from a role player in the NBA playoffs. And when I say role player, I mean that with the highest respect because what Reeves said today made it crystal clear that he doesn't see himself as a role player at all. And after hearing his words, I don't think anyone else will either. So let me take you through exactly what happened because Game 5 tonight just became the most anticipated game of the entire 2026 NBA playoffs. Hey, what's up everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content. Every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. Let me give you the full picture because context is everything. The Lakers are up 3-1 against the Houston Rockets. They should be in a great position, but the mood around this team is anything but comfortable right now. Game 4 in Houston was a disaster. LeBron James had one of the worst games of his career, 10 points on 2 for 9 shooting with 8 turnovers. DeAndre Ayton got ejected for a flagrant 2 on Alperen Sengun that sparked a full brawl on the court. Luka didn't play because of his knee injury and won't be available until at least May 3rd, which means he's out for tonight too. The Rockets won 115-96 and suddenly had life in a series that looked like it was going to be a sweep, and the media predictably went into full attack mode. Stephen A. Smith spent the entire morning on First Take questioning whether LeBron had enough left in the tank to carry this team without Luka. Multiple analysts said the Lakers' perimeter defense was a sieve without a healthy backcourt, and the narrative around Austin Reaves specifically was ugly. Several reporters suggested that Reaves was milking the oblique injury to protect himself for his next contract negotiation, that he was being cautious instead of gutting it out for the team, that he was prioritizing his long-term financial security over the Lakers' championship run, and Reaves heard all of it. So this morning, the Lakers are going through their pre-game shoot-around at Crypto.com arena. Reaves was supposed to be doing light work, individual shooting, nothing contact related, but according to multiple reporters who were in the building, Reaves showed up at 5 a.m., 2 full hours before the scheduled shoot-around, and went through an intense individual workout that included full-speed defensive slides, cutting drills, and contested jump shots. When the team arrived for the official shoot-around, Reaves was already drenched in sweat and asked to participate in full 5-on-5 drills. The medical staff was apparently hesitant, but Reaves insisted, and JJ Redick backed his player's decision. He went through every drill at full speed, with an oblique injury that has kept him out for nearly a month. And when the shoot-around ended, instead of going to the training room for treatment, Reaves walked straight to the ESPN camera position in the tunnel and said, "I need to say something before tonight." The reporter, clearly not expecting a full interview, scrambled to get the microphone ready, and Reaves didn't even wait for a question. He just started talking, and what came out of his mouth was fire. He said, "I've been sitting on that bench for almost a month, 27 days. I've watched every single minute of every single game from the worst seat in the house, the one where you can see everything but can't do anything about it. I watched Game 1 and felt proud. I watched Game 2 and wanted to rip my jersey off the hanger and run onto the court. I watched Game 3 and cried in the locker room because we won and I wasn't part of it. And then I watched Game 4. He paused and his jaw tightened. I watched Game 4 and something broke inside me, not my oblique. Something deeper. I watched my team get destroyed. I watched LeBron, a 41-year-old man, trying to carry everything by himself because Luka's out and I'm out and the weight was too much for one person. I watched Ayton get ejected, trying to compete with an intensity that this team needed. And I sat there in a suit on a bench, useless. And I made a decision right there. I'm done being careful. I'm done listening to the medical staff tell me to wait one more week. I'm done protecting myself. The reporter tried to ask a follow-up about the injury status, whether the doctors had cleared him, and Reeves cut her off cold. The doctors want me to wait until next week. The trainers want me to do another round of treatment, and I respect them. I respect the science. But there's something that science can't measure, and that's what's inside a man's chest. My oblique is not 100%. I'm going to be honest about that. It hurts. When I twist, when I reach for a steal, when I take contact on a drive, it hurts. But you know what hurts more? Watching my team need me and not being there. Watching the media say I'm soft. Watching reporters on Twitter suggest that I'm protecting myself for a contract. His eyes went dark when he said that, and his voice dropped to a level that was almost scary. Let me address that directly. I am an undrafted player. Do you understand what that means? It means every single team in the NBA looked at me and said, no thank you. It means I have fought for every minute, every dollar, every opportunity I've ever had in this league. Nobody gave me anything. I earned it every game, every practice, every summer workout. And now you're gonna tell me that I'm the type of person who sits out a playoff series to protect a future contract. You don't know me. You've never known me. And tonight, I'm going to remind you who I am. Bro, the intensity in his voice was terrifying. This was not the Austin Reeves that people are used to seeing. The smiley, aw shucks kid from Arkansas who celebrates three-pointers with that goofy grin. This was someone else entirely. This was a man who had been insulted, doubted, and dismissed, and who was using all of that as gasoline. And he kept going. He said, Houston thinks I'm an easy target. They think my injury makes me a liability. They've been hunting mismatches on whoever is guarding their perimeter players because they know our backcourt has been shorthanded. Well, tonight they're gonna find out what happens when that changes. Because I'm not coming back at 80%. I'm not gonna ease into it. I'm not gonna be on a minutes restriction. I already told JJ that. When I step on that floor tonight, I am gonna play like it's the last game of my life. Because for all I know, with this injury, it might be the last game I can play at this level for a while, and I'd rather give everything I have for 35 minutes and not be able to walk tomorrow than sit on that bench for one more second while my brothers are out there fighting without me. Then he brought up LeBron, and his voice changed from angry to something more reverent, more emotional. He said, LeBron James is 41 years old. He has nothing left to prove to anyone. He could retire tomorrow and be the greatest player who ever lived. But 2 nights ago, in Game 4, even when his shot wasn't falling, even when the turnovers were piling up, even when everything was going wrong, he was out there for 38 minutes competing at 41, with his body breaking down. Because that's who he is. And if a 41-year-old man with 4 championships and 40,000 career points can give that kind of effort, what's my excuse? I'm 28. I have 2 working legs and an oblique that's almost healed. What am I saving myself for? A contract, money, a longer career? None of that means anything if I don't have the respect of the men in that locker room. And respect is earned on the court, not in the training room. And then, this is the part that sent social media into a frenzy. Reeves looked directly into the camera, pointed and said, I have a message for Jalen Green and Amen Thompson and every guard on Houston's roster. Tonight, the matchups change. Tonight, the scouting report you've been using for the last 2 games is garbage, because the player you've been exploiting isn't going to be on the bench anymore. He's going to be in your face for 35 minutes. And every time you try to turn that corner, every time you try to get a clean look at the rim, every time you think you've got a step on the closeout, I'm going to be right there with an oblique that hurts and a heart that's on fire. And I promise you, the heart is going to win that fight every single time. Then he addressed the series and what tonight means, and his tone shifted to something almost ominously calm. He said, we are up 3-1. We need 1 win, and we are at home in the Crypto.com arena in front of our fans. And I am telling everyone watching this right now, there will not be a Game 6 in Houston. This series ends tonight. We did not build this team. We did not bring LeBron and Luka together. We did not sacrifice and grind through an 82-game season to go back to Houston for another game. It ends here. It ends now. And if I have to be carried off that court on a stretcher to make it happen, then wheel me out, because I am not leaving that floor until the series is over. He finished with something that perfectly captured who Austin Reaves is and why Lakers fans love him. He said, "People ask me all the time why I play with so much energy, why I dive for loose balls, why I take charges, why I compete like every possession is life or death. And the answer is simple. I remember what it felt like to not be wanted. I remember sitting in my apartment on draft night watching every team pass on me, all 60 picks. And I remember the feeling of my phone not ringing. That feeling never leaves you. It fuels everything I do." So when people say I'm protecting myself for a contract, they don't understand that the thing that drives me isn't money. It's the fear of being unwanted again, and I will never let that happen. I'll die on that court first. See y'all tonight. He walked away. No questions taken. Just those words hanging in the air like smoke. And let me tell you, if you're a Rockets player and you just watched that clip in your hotel room in Los Angeles, you are not feeling good about tonight. Because Austin Reaves just told you that a man with nothing to lose and everything to prove is about to be in your face for 35 minutes. And there is nothing scarier in professional sports than a player who doesn't care about his own body anymore. The implications for tonight are enormous. With Reaves back, the Lakers suddenly have the perimeter defender and secondary scorer they've been missing. Marcus Smart, who was historic in Game 3 with 21 points, 10 assists, and 5 steals, now has a backcourt partner who can share the defensive load. LeBron doesn't have to carry the entire offensive burden by himself. And the energy that Reaves is going to bring to that building, it's going to be electric. The crowd is going to go absolutely insane when he checks in for the first time. And that momentum, that emotion, that wave of "our guy is back," that can carry a team to a series-clinching win. I want to hear from Laker Nation. Is Reaves making the right decision playing through the injury? Is tonight the night the Lakers close it out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit subscribe, smash the bell. Game 5 is tonight. Austin Reaves is back, and if he plays like he talked this morning, Houston doesn't stand a chance. Let's go. Peace.